Change your mental filter. This video describes a very momentous step in practicing mentalism. As difficult as it may be for a lot of people, accepting the fact that the world and its stimuli are essentially neutral is actually the easiest part. It's absolutely necessary, and no progress can be made if you can't make it past that point. But, in the big scheme of things, that part is the easiest. Everything else past that point requires a tremendous amount of effort. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and break out in a sweat. This is not a physical effort. Instead, this is something much more difficult. Believe it or not, it's easier for people to do things physically than for them to take action mentally. When you take a mental action, you're going to be facing more resistance. Why? You're going to be going against how you normally think. You're going to have to confront and overcome your mental habits. You're going to have to deal with your attitude. This is why changing your mental filter is so difficult for a lot of people. As the old saying goes, you can take the kid out of the country, but you cannot take the country out of the kid. Now, you can mix and match all sorts of things for the word kid and country, but you get to decide whether you will get the same result. We are a product of our upbringing, our environment, and our past. These work together with our choices to produce our mental filter. Please understand, given this reality, it's very hard to change your mental filter. How does your mental filter affect your life? It all boils down to interpretation. Since the stimuli coming in are essentially neutral and we choose to become aware of certain facts instead of others, this leads to short interpretations. These certain facts are more likely to support certain interpretations. If that isn't bad enough, we then look at what we choose to pay attention to and pick one of many different interpretations. Now you may be thinking at this point, it's fairly straightforward. No, it isn't. This isn't just happening in your mind. It isn't just something that is easy to blow off where we can easily say, well, everybody looks at different things in different ways and it all leads to the same place anyways. No, it doesn't. Because you chose to interpret what you choose to pay attention to as a certain way. This leads to emotional states. Please understand that interpretations are never emotionally neutral. There's always an emotional payload to them. It may not involve drama. It may not involve some sort of strong emotion, but there is still an emotional component. Believe it or not caring or apathy is an emotional state. Now that your interpretation has triggered this emotional state, what happens next while your emotional state, like it or not, and regardless of whether you are aware of it, impacts how you talk and act. It also impacts what you focus on. When you start talking a certain way with people, you start influencing people around you because they listen to you. More importantly, when you act a certain way because you assume that things are a certain way. These actions are not restricted to you. This is the point where your thoughts change your reality. Let's get one thing clear. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It really doesn't. It couldn't care less about your motivations, intentions, ideas, theories, and whatnot. If you just keep them in your head, even if you express them very emotionally, chances are the world still wouldn't care. Now, there's a good chance that you would have a strong impact if you actually published this information, and it caught a lot of people's attention. Still, by and large, your intentions and emotions really don't impact the world. However, the world cannot help but sit up and pay attention. When you let your emotional state change how you behave at that point, you start changing your reality. At that point, your actions start impacting the people and the things around you. You start changing your world, and the world can't help but react. This is how we edit our reality. And it all begins with our thoughts and mental filters. By just making key changes at each step of the process, you end up changing the actions you take. When you change your habitual actions, you change your life. This is how mentalism works. It's all about taking full ownership of your mental filter. Choosing an empowering filter. When you read certain situations in your life, whether they're happening now or whether it happened in the past, always understand that you can choose your filter. Always understand that there is at least one filter that is empowering. At the very least, it won't make you feel small, weak, powerless, and passive. Find that filter. Read a situation in a way where you remain in control. You will always say to yourself, if I feel negative, it is because I've chosen to feel negative. If I feel small and weak and powerless, it's because I've chosen to feel that way. And the more you keep coming back to that affirmative statement of a quote, it's because I have chosen that quote. You are doing it right. You are on the right path. Why? Because you have chosen to take off your blinders to the superpower you have. The only power you need in this life is your choice. your power of choice. This is what shapes your reality. This is what gives birth to a brand new or universal universe of opportunities for yourself. You are not your past even if you're 50 years old. You can still go back to school. You can get retrained even if you have been physically abused, bruised, and battered in the past. You can still have better relationships. It's your choice. In all of this, it is all your choice. This is why you have to keep coming back to the power of your choice. This is the most empowering realization you'll ever get. Use this as the bedrock of all filters. You choose to be aware of, and you choose to craft for yourself.